What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel, and today we are going to be going over 4 things that really surprised me from my time playing Star Wars Squadrons. This video was made possible by the EA Game Changers program. We were lucky enough to get our hands on the game for a few hours over the weekend, so a massive thank you to EA for the awesome opportunity. But without wasting any more time, let's get stuck right into it. So the first thing that really surprised me in Star Wars Squadrons was the depth and usefulness of the power management system. I did cover the power management system in my first video on the game, so if you're looking for a more in-depth look at how that works, then be sure to check that one out as well. But essentially what it does is allow you to focus all of your starfighters' power on either your engines, your lasers, or your shields. Now, heading into the playtest, I was very curious to see how it went because I was skeptical that it would be a bit too hard to use or something like that, but it was so easy to pick up, and honestly after a single match I felt like I had been using it for years, so this was probably one of the biggest surprises for me overall. This system really allows you to properly take control of your starfighter and take it from just sort of flying around shooting at stuff to actually truly mastering how you move, how you attack enemies, how you defend yourself. It really did just make the gameplay feel so deep and really thoughtful, like you actually have to think about what you're doing if you want to do really well at the game. I think anyone can pick up the game and do pretty decent, but I think those of us who try and master this power management system are going to be a step ahead of those more casual players, allowing us to sort of outmaneuver and outsmart them more often than not. So that's something that I'm very excited to see when the game releases. Moving on, the next aspect of the game that really surprised me was actually just the immersion of playing the game. It really felt like I was flying a starfighter and taking part in real space battles, and although I did think that would be a possibility just watching the gameplay reveal, it was actually much more immersive than I thought it would be. When you're in an X-Wing, for example, obviously there's the 4 blasters, one on each wing, and rather than just hearing constant blaster fire when you're shooting at the enemy, you can actually hear your shots coming from each direction, top right, top left, bottom left, all coming through your headset in different directions, and just that alone caught me off guard, honestly. You can then hear your pilot actually moving the throttle around in the engines, so when you speed up you'll hear your pilot actually push the stick forward, making that sort of clunky sound like changing gears in a car, for example. You can also hear your monitors beeping away when certain things recharge or whatever the case may be. So there's so much stuff going on in the cockpit, none of which is distracting, but all of which is just so immersive and adds a great touch to the game overall. Even just when you repair your ship mid-flight with a repair kit, rather than just pressing the button and it just happens, your character actually reaches out and presses some buttons on the dashboard to actually activate the repair kit. It's just those tiny little details which really stood out to me, and like I said, even though I did think it would be pretty immersive, it was actually even more immersive than I ever thought it would be. Moving on, the next thing on the list that surprised me was the customization of your character, which was actually more in depth than I thought it would be. A lot of people have wondered why there even is customization when you can't see anything in first person, but before the battles there's the briefing room where you can see all of your teammates standing around, and then at the end of the game there's also a victory pose section where you can see all 5 characters standing around as well. So you will see your character pretty much every game, even though you can't actually see them within the match itself. Now, the depth of the customization was actually pretty awesome, and Ian Fraser, the creative director of Star Wars Squadrons, told us that what we saw in our build of the game wasn't even the complete list of customization either. You can choose your character's face and even a few different alien races. You can choose to have a helmet or no helmet. You can choose a bunch of regular pilot suits, for example like the basic Rebel jumpsuit, or you can actually just choose like a jacket and pants like Poe Dameron, for example. You can even choose the gloves that your character wears. There's also the ability to choose emotes and victory poses, and you can even choose your character's voice as well. So for something that we won't really see in the gameplay itself, I thought the character customization was awesome. Now, moving on to the next thing that surprised me, this one is again customization, but this time for your actual vehicle, and honestly this was probably even crazier than the character customization. In terms of the aesthetics, you can actually customize your paint job on the starfighter, as well as adding decals on the wings or certain areas on the hull. But then there's also the customization in the cockpit as well, which allows for holograms, little items on your dashboard like the little Ewok bobblehead, and then even a flare which was just like a hanging item that moved around in the cockpit as you turn. It was all just a really nice little touch to be able to make the ship your own. In terms of the actual component customization though, that was even crazier than I originally thought as well. There are 6 components on your starfighter, being the primary weapon, the left auxiliary and the right auxiliary, your countermeasures, the hull and the engine. All of these can be chopped and changed to your own liking. Do you want your ship to be a lot faster at the cost of taking damage easier? You can do that. Do you want your ship to be a tank at the cost of movement speed? You can do that as well. Do you want to shoot regular lasers, or do you want to change it up to ion shots instead? You can do that too. It was completely customizable to how you want to play the game, and I absolutely love that aspect to it, which was something that I really didn't expect going into the playtest. But that is going to do it for this one, guys. If you did enjoy the video, be sure to leave a like down below, and if you are new, consider subscribing to the channel with those notifications on so you don't miss out on any more Star Wars Squadrons content. Thank you all so much for watching. You guys have a great day, and I'll catch you all in the next one.